Hello and welcome back to my Southern California Pokemon Region project, where today we'll be talking about the fossil Pokemon. Now usually in the Pokemon regions that have a fossil Pokemon, they're usually only 2 stages, so that's what I'm going to be designing today. Now Southern California has a lot of Ice Age mammal fossils specifically. One of the most famous fossil sites is the La Brea Tar Pits, and one of my Pokemon is going to be inspired by that today. The most famous fossil from the La Brea Tar Pits is a saber-toothed cat fossil, but we already have Xianpao, so I'm choosing the ground sloth fossil. There's a lot of them actually, there's like over 70. And what's great about fossil Pokemon is that they don't strictly have to be just dinosaurs. The original gen just had, crustaceans and pterosaurs, which is not a dinosaur, but it really expands the options for design-wise. So with that being said, let's get on to our first Pokemon, being Tarthra, the tar sloth Pokemon, a ground type, evolved from the tarred fossil. Tarthra were once theorized to go extinct due to the tar the fossils were found in, but it turns out that the tar was part of its own body. Natural selection had simply caused the extinction of the species. Now in designing this Pokemon, it looks a lot like Muck because they're both really goopy creatures, but I tried my best to look like it's been draped in like some kind of cloak, but it's actually the tar. The shiny form being actually just like road tar, and having like a couple of debris sticking out of it just makes the silhouette more interesting. We've had sloth Pokemon before, like Slackoth, that line, and they have large claws. That is a big defining feature of the animal. So instead of like multiple long claws, I just did one singular claw. Now with the name of the Pokemon, of course there's the tar of it, but the Thra, I really wanted the TH in there because the scientific name for ground sloth are Megatherium, and it has that big TH in there. So another design-wise aspect with fossil Pokemon is that there's usually like a goofy looking one and then like a really cool one, the one that the boys will like. The boys on the playground. So, the goofy ones can still look cool if they have their moment, but the evolution for Tarthra will be the goofy one of the two. So let's see. Marsh Tar, the tar sloth Pokemon, a ground grass type. Its hidden ability is Stuck. All attacks deal double damage, but it always goes second. Marsh Tar take extensive mud baths hourly, and love to invite other Pokemon with them. Although this may end in tragedy, as Marsh Tar only finds the stickiest of mud holes to wade in, causing other Pokemon to get stuck. So it gains the grass typing. It would only make sense. It is part of the earth after all, and I like the little caveman element of the bone in its head. It kind of gives off Volibee or whatever its evolution is, but I feel like it's more pronounced here because sloths are mammalian, and mammalians are, we're in that group. I'm in that group. I'm a mammal, so it kind of fits here. Its ability, might as well forget the speed stat because it always goes second if you have it, but I just think it's funny because they're stuck in the hole. So yeah. And so here's the concept art. As you see, it's very, again, true on point. You'll see that was the next one too. Just a rough line art for the both of them. One thing I do like is the arm. Its left arm, just keeping it on near the head. It's kind of like scratching its head, wondering what's going on. It is the doofy dolt of the two. So yeah. And with that being said, let's get on to my next fossil Pokemon. Now since Southern California is next to the ocean, I really wanted to do a Mosasaurus fossil Pokemon. I think Mosasaurs are cool as hell. If you don't agree, then get your mind out of the gutter. Look at it, bro, it's cool. And in the National Museum of Los Angeles County, there are a lot of Mosasaur fossils that you can see there. So it fits the bill of being Southern California. And while I was researching, I found a different type of Ice Age species called the saber-toothed salmon that also lived in Southern California, often going in rivers and living on the coast. So I thought a mix of those two animals would be really fun to make. And my last piece of design inspiration is the Chumash, which is the indigenous people of the California coast. They're known for their nice ornate boats that they would make to go fish. And I thought, you know, boats and fish and mosasaurus and salmon, you know, it all makes sense. So let's show off this next fossil Pokemon, the Chinoo, the snapping boat Pokemon, a water type, revived from the saber-tooth fossil. Its outer shell were once used as boats for the native people of the Daygo region. Many Chinoo migrate up rivers to trend against the current to strengthen its oar-like fins. Remember my concept art of the headdress, the feathered headdress that my Volacanda had? Oh, I moved it to here, because I feel like it fit better. It definitely is more saber-toothed salmon in its first stage. It's pretty big, you know, because a person has to fit in there. But I really like this design. It's very nice looking. It's very sleek. It's very round as a, you know, first stage Evo should be. But it also has sharp, jagged edges to show that this is the more serious fossil Pokemon. The name origin being canoe, which is, you know, the boat. Chinook, which is a type of salmon, and the Chumash being the tribe that it's based off of. So it all kind of just like fits together in one beautiful name. I think it's beautiful. You guys think it's beautiful? Comment down below if you think it's beautiful. And we move on to the next evolution of this Pokemon, being the Chumoasaur, the snapping boat Pokemon, a water dragon type. Its hidden ability, Strength of the Sea. Every water type move raises attack and defense. These were the apex predator of the ancient ocean, known as the Tyrantrum of the seas. Chumoasaur would always keep their prey population regulated and never ate more than they needed to. So, little known fact, also dope on the mic! No, Chumoasaur was one of the first Pokemon that is designed for the Daygo region. I knew from the very beginning that I wanted a Mosasaur Pokemon, and I think this fits the bill really well. It looks very cool, I think. I think one of the weirder design elements of it is that the sail, the dorsal fin, is not like a boat sail, but it's also made out of wood. But you know, I was looking at those canoes that the Chumash people made. There was no freaking paper sail on them, so I just made it another wood part of it. I like the unconventional pupil. It's just a slit down the horizontal line. It makes it feel very like alien-like, very beast-like. Of course, the patternings were based off of the boats the Chumash used. And the hooked beak is a reference to the salmon it's based off of. Strength of the Sea is very broken, as all of my freaking hidden abilities. Of course, the water type move also applies to the opponent's Pokemon, so yeah, it really is a very fearsome Pokemon. You know, probably be used competitively. I could see it as being very important that way. And so here's the concept art. Chumoasaur was very like, I knew exactly what I was going for. I wanted the main body to be like a boat. And then Chinoo, I actually had more trouble designing because I just had to like remove elements that made it cool, and it kind of looks a little bit dorky. It's a first stager, but you know, it's still dorky, but yet kind of scary. I mean, look, it has big freaking jaws. And so here are my designs for the fossil Pokemon of the Daygo region. I'm very happy with these. I feel like it's very diverse in its designs with the scary and goofy. And I think it fits well with the other fossil Pokemon that have been released by Game Freak. So with that being said, in the next episode we'll be going over some rock types that I'm very excited to show. The next root kind of Pokemon, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, yeah, thanks for watching. Comment what else Pokemon you want to see, and yeah, bye.